Hey guys, and welcome to Peace in the Promise. I keep going to say welcome to another episode of Peace in the Promise pod because I'm so used to speaking on my podcast. Small plug, if you have not already checked it out, check out my podcast, Peace in the Promise pod, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts for further encouragement from me. But I am Marimbe, the founder of all that is Peace in the Promise right here. And today I just wanted to talk about my blog. You may or may not know that Peace in the Promise actually started out as a blog. So if you've not been there, it's peaceinthepromise.com. It's actually my whole website, so you'll find a lot of stuff on there. But through peaceinthepromise.com, there'll be like a little clicky jiggy thing that says blog, and you click on that and you have all my blog posts. And guys, I feel like it's hilarious. God has a sense of humor because he made me the way that I am because I'm so chatty. So it's like almost every platform that I'm on gives me an avenue to talk. So it's like YouTube, I'm talking. My podcast, I'm like talking, obviously. And my blog, I'm like writing out my thoughts. So it's like, wow, I get to like spew out everything. Right, that was really a graphic explanation, but you get the picture. So I just want to talk about my blog for a second and show it some love because that's really where Peace in the Promise started. I remember writing my first my first blog post, which was called You Got This Ma. And I think in it was just like, that was really when I was adjusting to being a first-time mom, and I think there was a bit of a challenging night or evening with my son at the time. And yeah, it was just, I remember just writing out my thoughts, and like God just gave me that blog post and I wrote it out, and then I wrote it like my friends and people were messaging and saying, wow, like that was really relatable, I totally felt that, and all of that stuff, and it was such an encouragement. So if you go there now, I've got so many blog posts, like I don't even know how many are there, but I've written on so many topics, like there's lifestyle, faith. It generally seems to kind of stick around those two topics. So lifestyle, anything to do with motherhood, me, marriage, weddings, all of that stuff, and faith, which is really intertwined in everything in my life. So I just really love it, and I feel like, yeah, honestly, if you go there, there's something for everybody. So there'll be something to encourage you in whatever season of life that you're in. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about one of my recent blog posts. It's pretty much talking about spiritual growth, and I think I've titled it, you know, you're not a baby anymore, and what spiritual growth is and isn't. Normally I kind of steer away from like saying, this is what this is and this is what this isn't. This is what this isn't is, does that make sense? My English. But yeah, so I just wrote that out. Maybe it's just, I guess it's the only way that I could really have described it. But pretty much what I'm talking about in the blog post is how transitions in spiritual growth or in the spiritual journey can often feel like. Something I always say or always write in Peace in the Promise things is, you know, enjoy and listen, and feel free to read and listen and whatever and watch these videos, but always remember, you know, every experience is unique. So me, definitely I do share based highly on testimonies and what God has seen me through, but that is infused with the word and infused with the knowledge that I have. So obviously I'm by no means a PhD or whatever else. I'm not like a person who's got their doctorate in the world and everything yet, but you know, just take it obviously with a grain of salt. Like obviously listen and be encouraged, but also remember that my experience is not always going to be your experience is not always going to be my experience, but we can still learn from each other, right? Yes. And if we all understood that, the world would be a much happier place, I do believe. So yes, I'm talking about pretty much how, yeah, transitions in the spirit can feel in the spiritual journey, because much like let's say the transition from being a baby to a toddler, from being a toddler to a child to adolescence to adulthood, us as spiritual children, we also go through similar phases and transitions in our walk, and sometimes those transitions, just like the transitions of our ages, like our age what? Just like the transition from, like, let's say adolescence to adulthood, or childhood to adolescence, it can feel awkward, confusing, scary, strange, weird. It's like, why are things changing? It can feel the same way in our spiritual walk. So I've pretty much written a blog post about that, and I would really encourage you to go and read it, because I love writing. I feel like I can control my thoughts, or I guess display my thoughts better when I write. And I feel like my thought processes are broken down better when I write. When I talk, I love talking, but I know I can go all over the place. But when I write, I can sit down, I can edit, I can analyze, I can get precisely to the point, and it's clear and it's direct. So I really feel like if you love reading, if you love writing, all that stuff, you'll definitely enjoy my blog posts. And if you like stories, because I'm a little bit of a storyteller. Ever since I was a kid, I would make like the smallest story seem like it was extreme, and I would like act it out and be so extra. So I think that's kind of what I do in my blog posts and even on my YouTube and podcast. So yeah, definitely go check it out. If you're in a season of transition, maybe you're feeling like maybe you're not hearing God as well as you used to, maybe you're feeling like the old like videos and that you'd be watching are no longer filling you, or are no longer feeding you what you need to be fed. Maybe if you are feeling like, you know, you're feeling like you're running around the same mountain over and over again, like you're re-enduring tests and temptations that you thought you had overcome. Maybe like, I guess, trusting in God, believing in faith, being self-controlled, not just lashing out in your anger, whereas it used to be easier for you to do that, but now maybe it's seeming a bit harder to control yourself, and you're wondering why. Like, all these changes could be happening in your life, and it could be indicative of the fact that you are just going through like a spiritual leap. As we call them in little kids, developmental leaps, but you could be going through a spiritual leap, and I hope to address that and encourage you in that spiritual leap through my blog post, because hey, we all been through it and we all go through it. So from one person who's gone and going through continuous spiritual leaps after another, I want to be able to encourage you through what I have learned personally through mine. So yeah, definitely guys, my words are getting tongue-tied, but definitely go and check it out. Just check out peaceinthepromise.com and click on the blog linky McLink, and you will see my latest blog post there, and definitely read the rest too, because like, if you've got the time, if you've got the day off, if you're free, if you've got, you know, your lunch break is an hour or whatever, you might as well enjoy some reading, enjoy some watching of my videos, enjoy listening to my podcast, check out my Instagram, do it all. But yeah, that's all today, guys. I think that is all I wanted to do. Yeah, I think that's all I want to share. Also, how can I forget? I wanted to shout out my brother in Christ and sister in Christ, Julian and Tiffany, for hosting my husband and I on, well, it's really Julian's talk show called Let's Talk, where he interviews inspiring, or I don't know if it's inspiring, where he interviews people, men and women of God, for different reasons, but he also has his own platform of encouragement. And if you know, Peace in the Promise is, I always say, it's a platform of encouragement. So I love anything that serves to inspire and encourage, and where people are actually able to share their stories and testimonies of triumph, because I know that that's what encourages me, and it definitely encourages lots of other people. So they actually featured us on their show. I think it's episode 16, so I will link that one below as well, so you can go and check it out. But my hubby and I were there, and it's got two parts, part 1 and 2. Don't miss out, because part 1 and 2, it includes us talking about marriage, being married young, being parents young, being Christians, and just talking about our journeys and that. And at the end, towards the end, so don't click out of it, make sure you watch it until the end of part 2, I talk about peace in the promise. And guys, I could talk about that all day. To be honest with you, I could talk about this all day, every day, because this is my life and I just love it so much. So definitely check them out, definitely follow his channel, and definitely check out all the other people he's interviewed, because there's some really inspiring stories. And I love love it. I love seeing people of faith in Perth doing stuff because it's great and it's awesome to see internationally things that are going on, and it's amazing, and we need to keep obviously that fire going. But it's even more, I feel like it's super encouraging to see people in our own state, in our own city that are doing things, because so often we can sleep and be like, ah, nothing happens here, nothing's going on. But guys, I've been saying it for a while, but like a wave is building and it's upon us to keep that momentum going. So let's encourage each other, let's support each other and what we are doing. Don't say that no one is encouraging anyone out there, because there are so many people doing stuff. You just need to know where to look. So check out his channel, I'll link it below. Julian and Tiffany, beautiful people. They've got 3 beautiful boys, and yeah, it was just an honor to sit with them. We are laughing so much and it was just a good time. We were there for like 3 hours. So it is some quality conversation with lots of laughs as well. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Well, like this video, subscribe. Let me rewind. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more encouragement from me. Check out my Facebook, my Instagram, my YouTube, which you're already here, and my podcast and my blog. All of that stuff is linked below because it's too much for me to say. But anyway, have a beautiful rest of your day, and until the next video,